r/AskReddit by Reddition. Like and subscribe. What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? He wrote in my yearbook, when I was 6 years old, I went into a cornfield. I didn't realize it was a maze. I was stuck for several days without food or water. When they found me, the doctors said I'd never be the same. Good luck in college. Stole a car, crashed it, lost both his legs at 17. A few years later he did it again, but this time he stabbed one of the Good Samaritans who tried to help him, and shot at another one. He then led the police on an 8-hour manhunt through a tropical jungle by detaching his prosthetics and hiding under the leaves and mud, and using a makeshift raft to escape downriver under the cover of nightfall. The newspaper the next day read "Armed and Legless." Andrew Hooker made an album of electronica called Hook Anthems, and each one was a soundtrack for different mundane tasks of his life. He sold only one copy to a maths teacher, and it's also one of my life regrets that I didn't buy one too. Put a pig fetus head on the English teacher's car antenna. This is the second pig fetus story I've seen as answers to this question, which isn't a lot but still more than I would have expected. The albino kid in school. He would take off running down the hallway with one hand straight out in front of him and yell, "White lightning." He was weird but everyone liked him. Way to own it. Poured his juice on the table at lunch and suction cupped his mouth over it and inhaled it all like a Hoover when you put it directly onto a hard floor. He's a lawyer now. I'm not sure if he's done this with anyone else, but he drew a picture of SpongeBob and cherries at brutally killing me and my friend, and then willingly showed it to us. I couldn't help but laugh, but it was actually very well drawn. I like that kid. A few days before a pep assembly, anonymously posted signs all over school that said "The cock is coming." Teachers and school administrators were obviously concerned but clueless. Smuggled a live rooster into the assembly, and partway through the opening speech at the assembly, whipped it out over his head as it went apeshit. Entire gym full of kids stood up and started chanting "cock. Cock. Cock." Was not seen at school for a few days after that. Kidnapped a kindergarten from the bus stop and brought her to school claiming it was her daughter. He was generally very weird and erratic. One day he extracted a huge slimy booger out of his nose, turned around to me and a friend, and told us full of glee, "Guys, look." Then he stuffed it back into his nose. One day I asked him why he was so weird, and he told me with the straightest face, "The jester's cap affords one many liberties." So I don't know if he was just weird or a secret genius, maybe a bit of both. She barked at people and tried to scratch behind her ears with her foot and sniffed people's butts at recess. She was 14. This girl decided she wanted to be pregnant. She proceeded to ask probably half the people in our high school if they would impregnate her, and then when that didn't work she brought a Ziploc bag and asked 4 guys to jazz in it. Everyone called her sperm bank after that, and I honestly can't remember her real name. She took an easy task and made it hard. I had an autistic friend, and he was afraid of a particular twin. He was minding his own business in the corridors, and each twin was walking towards each other at different ends of the corridor, with him in between. Frightened, he did what no one would expect, jump out the window. He was on the 3rd floor. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt that bad. When my teacher asked him why he did that, he said my life was under grave danger, and I only did what was imperative to be done. To this day, I don't know why he was afraid of them. He would get almost fully naked to pee in the urinal. He said he was Sonic the Hedgehog. When someone asked his name he would say "I'm Sonic" and run away as fast as he could. He even wrote his name as Sonic on homework and tests. Most people never knew his real name. Ate a sheep eye we were supposed to dissect in science class. Man oh man, aren't those things full of inedible, probably toxic preservatives. Ended up in a mental institution because his parents bought him a new mattress, and while removing the old one they found multiple mason jars full of blood, no exaggeration, 2 gallons total. There was a police investigation and turns out it was all his blood. His only answer as to why was just in case. This is sad. Poor kid was really freaking confused about life. Hope he's suffering less and under good treatment. Humped my desk for a solid minute while maintaining eye contact with me and then said thanks and just walked away. I'm a guy. This was 15 years ago on my first day at this new school and I was just eating lunch at my desk and this dude just walked up and went to town. No context, no introduction, nothing. Didn't even buy me dinner first. Just wham, bam, thank you desk. There was this huge guy, tall and wide, in our classes. To support his impressive body, he ate a lot. He'd bring an entire roll of cookies, like 20 plus, and stack them on one side of his desk. Then he would take one bite out of cookie number 1 and put it to the other side of his desk. Then he would take one bite out of the next cookie and place that one on top on cookie number 1. He'd go through the whole stack until all cookies were partially eaten and in a neat stack on the other side of his desk. Then he would do it again. Take one bite of the top cookie in place, that in the original side of the desk, bite the next cookie etc. After maybe 15 minutes of biting and stacking, the whole lot was gone. Now we weren't even supposed to eat in class, but he always got away with it somehow. If I was a teacher and saw that, I too would not mess with him. Pulled down his pants in the middle of a public bathroom and span in a circle, while spraying piss everywhere, and shouting around the world. What a daft little punk. 7th grade, guy didn't have a pen/pencil for the test and the teacher wouldn't give him one. You need to be prepared, blah. Yeah, the dude took out a paper clip, straightened it out, stabbed himself, and started doing the test using his blood as ink. He was quickly sent to the nurse's office. Edit, whoa thanks for the love everyone. It was kinda a sad situation. The teacher shouldn't have done that, and I think the student was picked on a lot and not very stable in the first place. Robbed a gas station dressed as a ninja, armed with a katana. Stole cash from the register, all the cigarettes he could carry, and a bunch of lottery tickets. He then fled across state lines with a 17-year-old girl. He was 19. Not a great result for him. Was in the band during some downtime. Some guy kicks off his shoes and socks and bites the ends of his toenails off. Most of the class casually migrated towards the other side of the room. I'm from a small town. There was this weird kid who was a year older, but he was so weird that even the younger kids would pick on him. I didn't really know him, but I put him in the weird but harmless category. He graduates and then decides to rob the local taco time with a shotgun. Well, it is a small town. The kids working at the taco time all know him, and pretty much everybody in the taco time also knows him. He got 2 years. Ate styrofoam, and then visibly lied about/denied it when someone pointed it out. Bits of styrofoam came out of his mouth. Ran around the hallways making pterodactyl noises with his arms raised up behind him like he was swimming butterfly. Could vomit on demand. Pissed his pants on the last day. He was so close. Cut his own hair while in class. Mentioned that he would conquer the world with a revolver. Ended up setting fire to his house and was sent to a mental asylum. Pretty mild stuff. He had a book where he would write in people that wronged him. I got put in for smelling like soap. Apparently he put a teaspoon up his ass in assembly. He was a genius, all top scores. One day he called a friend of mine and said, "Hey, what are you doing this afternoon? Do you want to come here so we can design a time travel machine?" Who knows when he is now. We were getting DNA samples in biology. Most of the class used spit, but he tried to squeeze milk out of his nipples. Milk. After that didn't work out, he attempted to get pimple fluid from his pimple. When the teacher noticed and questioned, he answered, "I got some out just this morning." This was when we were 14 to 15. Bell rings. Playground doors open. Weird kid walks directly to the center and screams for a full minute. I thought it was weird then, but now I can relate. Went to a large school, 3,000 students. If anyone said anything to the weird kid that he didn't like, he would stare at you and recite your name and address. A little creepy, also a little impressive, honestly. Chew the stuck gums under the tables. Moan during the exam. Hissed at people in the halls, and then bit someone. Edit. Geez, I didn't expect so much attention, but let me answer some questions. Said girl went to my middle school in Chandler, Arizona. It seems like every school has a hisser, but she didn't think she was a snake. She was a cat girl. Why is there always a hisser? Had a container of red Kool-Aid powder in his desk, and he would open it and eat it by the handful when he would get bored, usually an hour after lunch. This is going to sound ridiculous, but during my senior year of high school someone took a huge, and I mean inhumanly huge, shit in one of the girls' bathroom toilets that was far too big to be flushed away. Some kid mentioned seeing it, and in no time somehow the entire school was made aware and gathered around the bathroom trying to get a look at this monstrosity. Picture 50+ high school kids skipping classes just to try to squeeze into a small women's room to stare in awe at an infamous she. The crowd got so big and unruly that the administration finally caught on and banned people from that particular hallway for the rest of the day under threat of suspension. I like to believe that all of us were that weird kid on that day. Sold a school Chromebook for $0. 400 Robux for an investment of $0. Starks. During my 6th grade graduation, our class sang a song. Weird kid is standing next to me on stage and suddenly projectile vomits and some of it landed on my shoes. Impressively, he still kept singing while I stood there wide-mouthed in horror and disbelief. I'll never forget all the gasps from the crowd. The show must go on. Naruto ran everywhere, told everyone her dad was Harry Potter at age 12, and most memorably, came to school bawling her eyes out because she said she had laid an egg and her parents had eaten it for breakfast. He stabbed someone at a bus stop freshman year of high school. I don't think it was as intense as the rumors about it were, but he definitely had a knife and pulled it. He got expelled and sent to a high school for kids with behavioral/mental health issues. Senior year rolls around and he gets sent back to our high school. On the first day of school he shows up in a t-shirt that says Stabby is back. Legendary. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I was the weird kid. Spilled his fruit juice on his desk, wiped it with his shirt sleeve then sucked the juice out of it. Pooped and put it in the vending machine. He said I like your tits rose to the teacher. At an all-school assembly during my freshman year, a motivational speaker posed an easy rhetorical question to the crowd, and the weird kid in my grade unnecessarily shouted out the answer, to every bored person's sudden delight. For some reason, trying to maintain his authority, the speaker asked our weird kid, "What's your name, son?" Without pause, weird kid stood up from his chair and loudly proclaimed, "My name is Booger." This announcement was met with raucous applause and laughter from the entire student body. It was gloriously random and weird. From then on the weird kid was known only as Booger in our small town. It fit him better than Sean, and he flipping owned that name until graduation. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos.